Another long video, you guys, so you should know if you see the symbol, pause, and then take whatever notes you need to take, and then go back and continue with the presentation after you're done taking your notes. The objective: the student will be able to solve multi-step word problems. This will be done through presentation and classroom activity. This is a pretty long video, and the reason it's long is there's a lot more steps because it's multi-step word problems. So instead of just regular word problems, now we have multiple steps to them. So I'm going to still use that same format that I did, the four rules that I gave you to solving word problems, and I'm going to alter it so it will satisfy what's going on right over here. So take some few minutes, listen to what's going on, and have fun with this. Review of vocabulary. So in a second, we're going to see some vocabulary words that will be used all the time. You're going to see sum. Sum is the answer to an addition problem. Difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. Product is the answer to a multiplication problem. And quotient is the answer to a division problem. Remember, there will be other terms like in total would be another word for addition. But you do see these pretty often. These are pretty standard terms, and on tests, especially like midterms and finals, you might see what is the sum of this answer. That means solve, basically, solve for addition. Or what is the sum of these two numbers? It might say something like that. So you have to remember these four are the four big ones you might hear. You might hear more thrown on, but just please make sure these are in your notes. If they're not in your notes from the other one when we just had the other word problems, make sure they're in the notes from this set of word problems. So word problems. Again, word problems, people don't like it. But first, let's read the problem. Patty and Carl went to the movie theater. Patty bought 2 movie tickets at $7.35 each. Carl bought 2 buckets of popcorn at $5.60 each. How much more money did Patty spend than Carl? See, if you're like me, you can't read right, so it doesn't come out right anyways. But first step we want to do, we always want to read through the problem because then it starts clicking because we're going to actually read through it like 4 more times. Next, reread the problem and pull out any numbers. I've already highlighted them red, but Patty and Carl went to the movies. Patty bought 2 movie tickets. Choose a number, so we have to highlight that. For $9.35. I think my numbers changed in there. I'm sorry if they did. Carl bought 2 buckets of popcorn for $8.55 each. How much more did Patty spend than Carl? So right there we have the number 2, and then we have the amount. So we got to put both of those in there. So next, we have to reread and pull out any key terms. This is where I said these colored pencils and markers I told you to have will come and help you. Patty and Carl went to the movies. Patty bought 2 movie tickets. There's a number for $9.35 each. There's another number. Carl bought 2 buckets of popcorn at $8.55 each. How much more money did Patty spend than Carl? That's a key term. How much more? That's what you can use instead of difference. You're going to find out later. We have how much. So reread the problem again because it's helping you process it, the problem, and use the numbers and add the signs to find out the answer to the problem. So Patty and Carl went to the movies. Patty bought the 2 movie tickets for $9.35. So there's that first one. We have the number 2 that we were talking about and $9.35. So those are going to be used. However, she bought 2, $1 and $9.35. The second one is $9.35. Therefore, you're doing repeated addition, which is multiplication. There's your answer, $18.70. So in a second, I'm going to make it small so we can fit the other one in there. Now, when we were reading through it, sorry, can't speak today, bought 2 buckets of popcorn. So you bought 2 at $8.55. Same thing as the other one. It's repeated addition or multiplication. So we put our multiplication sign in there. So now that we have our multiplication sign, it'll be $17.10. So now we have to find out what we want to do because it is multi-step, and we know how much they spend means subtraction. So do we subtract all those numbers? No, we subtract the answers, 1870 and 1710. We subtract those 2, and then we'll get our answer when it catches up with me in a second. Our answer will be, drum roll, 160. And then in a second, you should see a dollar sign pop up. There it goes, because remember, word problems have to have words in the answer. And yes, dollar sign does make words. A few seconds of mindless stupidity to get your mind off this. That's my little reference to what was it called? Wizard of Oz. So, yes, I lost the hat. I forgot it. So, back to the task now. You're about to do a chili cook-off. The recipe calls for 1.25 pounds of ground beef and 2.5 pounds of beans. If you triple the recipe, that's 3 times the recipe. What is the product of ground beef? How many pounds of beans do you need? It's actually going to go through, read through it. If you reread through it again, you're going to find the two numbers are 1.25 and 2.5. And triple 3 times is really important too. Mr. Beuthin's having a hard time reading, so I'm going to try to read it as much as I can for you, but this is stuff that you should be doing every time. Remember, these 4 steps should be in your notes. So again, the 2 important numbers right there. Next, the key term, if you read through it again, you're about to do a chili cook-off. The recipe calls for 1.25 pounds of ground beef and 2.5 pounds of beans. If you triple the recipe 3 times, the recipe, what is the product of ground beef, and what is the pounds of beans you'll need? So we start product. Product's the key word. But even if you didn't know product, 3 times. You guys know times is multiplication. That's why I kind of did the little Christmas colors things there. So let's solve this problem now. If we were to reread through it again, we'd find that 1.25 and that 3 for 3 times. And we already know times means multiplication. So there you go. There's 1. So 1.25 times 3 is going to equal 3.7 pounds of beef. Then we're going to go to the next one. The next one, let's come on, move it up a little bit. It'll slide up in a second. So we have 2.5 for our pounds of beans, and then we want to triple it, so we're going to multiply it by 3. Ooh, that came up weird. I'm sorry about that, you guys, but it's going to disappear in a second. So sorry about that little bleep of whatever. So 2.5 times 3 is going to equal 7.5 pounds of beef. That should actually say beans. I am completely sorry, you guys. But we have 7.5 pounds of beans. So you're going to have your 2 answers, 3.75 pounds of beef, and then the second one should be beans. So make sure you change that in your notes. Here's your first pause symbol. This is the only pause symbol, so if you need to go back and take any notes, feel free to go back and take any notes. And then lucky you again. Again, just go to Edmodo. There'll be 2 homework questions over there. Do the 2 homework questions. I'm not going to have all those checked for understanding, all the 5 or 6 questions. So please, 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 that means take this time, go to Edmodo, answer the 2 questions that are there, and when you answer the 2 questions, you're done for the day. And in a second, the recap screen is going to come up. So to recap, step 1, read the problem. Step 2, reread the problem and pull out any any numbers that you have. Step 1, read the problem. Step 2, reread the problem, pull out any numbers. Step 3 is reread the problem, pull out any terms. Step 4 is use those terms to solve the problem. And then also don't make errors like me. If you notice that second slide, 1 pounds of beef, 1 pounds of beans. So read through the pounds and make sure you have the correct terms on it. Again, the objective, the student will be able to solve word problems. This will be done through a presentation and classroom activity. Good luck, you guys. Sorry if my words are a little bit jumbled, but you guys are done and good to go for the day.